It's incredibly important for people outside of Puerto Rico who care about what's happening, and not just the Puerto Rican diaspora, who have been raising the alarm on this, but all Americans, to say, this is predatory, this is a moral abomination. Puerto Ricans need help. They don't need to have their misery preyed upon. And it's not just electricity. There is a checklist of all kinds of assets that are being sold right now, or they're trying to sell right now. They're really auctioning off the country.
Like what?
Well, there's, you can go on the government website and just scroll down just hundreds of state assets that they're trying to sell right now.
And this is on the fiscal board, they're posting this?
It's not directly the fiscal board, but it's because of what the fiscal board is demanding. And in addition to that, and I think one of the most disturbing and most aggressive pushes besides the electricity privatization is school privatization. And a lot of what we're seeing in Puerto Rico is a replay of what happened in New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina. For those of people who don't remember, New Orleans was completely evacuated after Hurricane Katrina, and with the teachers out of the city, with the parents and students out of the city, New Orleans became this laboratory for people who don't believe in public education, and it now has the most privatized education system in the country. Schools were closed, reopened as charters. Unionized teachers were fired, some of them rehired at lower wages for non-union jobs. And they did this at a time when they were literally absent from their city. Puerto Rico is a little bit more complicated because people are there. They haven't entirely depopulated the island, but I think it is notable that one of the only efficient parts of the relief effort, the so-called relief effort, has been the depopulation of Puerto Rico, has been FEMA helping hundreds of thousands of Puerto Ricans to leave Puerto Rico. Now, for good reason, because hospitals, don't have electricity, because people need medical aid, because schools aren't open and school-age children need to be in school, and because, people without electricity, workplaces aren't reopening and people need to go earn money. So people are leaving because the reconstruction and relief effort has been so abysmal. This has been an efficient part of the reconstruction, just as opposed to so much of the reconstruction and relief, which has been incredibly inefficient. They actually have managed to depopulate a huge swath of Puerto Rico, and then that has become the rationale to close. The proposal now is to close 300 schools and to introduce charter schools. Puerto Rican teachers and parents have resisted charters very successfully. There have been court challenges. There aren't charter schools in Puerto Rico now, but they're saying no, we have to have charters. They're openly using New Orleans as their model. They also want to introduce a voucher system where you can use public dollars to send your kid to private schools. And if you look at the governor's fiscal plan that he unveiled a couple of weeks ago, he rationalizes this in part by saying that there are going to be 100,000 fewer students in the Puerto Rican school system. In other words, they believe that this depopulation of Puerto Rico is permanent. So they're using migration as an austerity tool.